Abraham Lincoln would start his life in rural Kentucky in the 1800s with much poverty, deprivation, and loss. Abraham Lincoln then would spend his adulthood failing forward to his country's highest office as President of the United States of America. So this video is about the high levels of motivation Abraham Lincoln had to persevere through massive hardships and losses through his adult life. Although Abraham Lincoln had little formal education, he had development from being coached in the ABCs by his biological mother, and later encouraged to continue reading by his stepmother. So motivation to learn, develop, and moreover persist through hardships was fused from his early life. At the age of 22, Abraham Lincoln moved to Salem, Illinois to start his adult life. After failing in business in 1831, Abraham Lincoln took a job at a general store where he would enjoy talking, reading. Abraham joined a local debate club where he would further develop his speaking and reasoning skills. Abraham met a woman called Anne Rutledge, for which he dated, and the couple planned to get married. Abraham was encouraged by locals to enter politics by running for state office in 1832. Abraham lost the first time, but had nearly the entire of Salem voting for him. This was an example of Abraham Lincoln failing forward in his adult life with going from farmhand in poverty to store clerk, and narrowly losing public office in his new town. Abraham Lincoln lost his job and borrowed money from a friend to start a business in 1832. The business failed. So he not only lost his job, the state senate, and failed in business getting into debt, but had these failures on the back of years of non-stop heartbreak, setbacks, and hardships in his childhood and youth. In the vein of persistence, Abraham Lincoln did not quit, and in 1834 ran again for state senator, and this time won. Abe went on to state senator whilst trying to enroll in law school. Abraham did not succeed in getting into law school, or studying under a lawyer, which was the route to become a lawyer at the time. Abraham did have the victory of winning state senate as a consolation. This nugget of victory no doubt would have helped sustain Abraham to believe he is on track in life. In 1835, his girlfriend, Anne Rutledge, died in the typhoid epidemic in Salem. Abraham Lincoln was heartbroken with losing his first love. This would have triggered memories of his mother dying. The other defeats he had suffered from could have caused those not forged in adversity with some nuggets of victory to quit, but Abraham Lincoln continued to plug away in life. At this stage, it's worth making an examination as to the whys of Abraham Lincoln's struggle as well as our own. I remember reading Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, where he survived the German concentration camps in World War II. Frankl found that the prisoners who survived were not the most healthiest or best fed, but those who the why they must survive, and finding the meaning in their suffering, in other words, having a goal, a why to get through it. I relate well to Frankl on this meaning, and the why behind the struggles I endured. I know what it's like not only to keep failing in early academics speech, but also getting bullied because of this. What I did was develop a reason to endure the struggles and goals of succeeding these hurdles. It was taking a stand in the situation against what I needed to overcome, and revenge against my bullies. After I overcome the speech, reading, writing, and math challenges, I developed a confidence and defense knowledge that the bully left the situation. Like Abraham Lincoln, a choice was made of finding a reason to continue and not quit on his goals. This is what you can do in life too. Humans are not machines, both can break down. In light of Anne's death, business failure, Abraham Lincoln had a nervous breakdown and was in bed with depression for months. Abraham Lincoln again had to find a reason to get up. A nugget of hope and reason for Abraham Lincoln to rise after falling was his win as Illinois State Senate. If he had not had that and any encouragement from anyone in his childhood, history no doubt would have had a different result. Personally, I overcame the discouragement of my teen years by knowing that I overcame early developmental challenges, so that showed me more is possible. Abraham Lincoln continued striving and failing forward. In 1838, losing his bid to be Speaker of the Illinois House of Representatives. Again, Abe had made progress by winning his second term in the House of Representatives, showing better is still possible. Abraham continued a series of political campaigns, including becoming an elector, getting defeated, running for Congress in 1843, and losing, based on previous wins which arguably are dwarfed by his defeats. Abraham continued, with that choice of carrying on knowing he has won before. Maybe the knowledge that in the American Revolution, the revolutionaries had lost more battles than they won helped. Abraham Lincoln won Congress in 1846 and by accounts did a good job. Abraham lost re-election to Congress in 1848. The nugget of previous victory kept him plugging away. On the last period on the way to the presidency, Abraham Lincoln lost multiple Senate and Vice President campaigns from 1848 to 1858, a decade of arguably worse failings than any stage of his adult life. Abraham got elected as President of the United States in 1860 at the age of 51. This age was quite old back in the 1800s. The journey of Abe Lincoln was one of never quitting and failing forward. This is something we can all apply to our lives. Thank you for watching. Please like, leave a comment, and subscribe.